Should viewers be able to book their own viewings? Today I'm joined by Ian Preston, who is both an estate agent, but also a voice when it comes to AI, CRMs, and all things tech in property. Ian, should viewers be able to book their own viewings? Talk to me.
It's surprisingly controversial. It's surprising.
Because we don't in all aspects of life, don't we?
Yeah.
Book our own MOTs, we book our own whatever.
Yeah, so estate agents basically believe that something mythical and magical happens when a customer is lucky enough to be able to talk to one of their negotiators. And I think that the core principle is that when you've got a really good system where people can go through a journey and complete the transaction, we see a huge uptake in this. So it's well over 50% in lettings, and it's about 40% of people book their viewings from a residential sales point of view directly online. So there's no doubt that the customers want it. And a bit like when we were talking in our last video about flexible fees and blended fees, that it's about the mindset of the individual agent, which is the blocker. I've spoken to a number of customers of another CRM where they have functionality to book viewings. And in all the conversations I had, I didn't find a single person who used that functionality. And I don't believe, by the way, that's a criticism of that CRM. I think it's a reflection of the fact that agents believe that they want their negotiators to pre-qualify people before they go and view properties. That's the core challenge which we're looking to try and tackle.
Yeah, if I'm getting crap going to see my properties, how do I sort that out?
Well, I mean,
I say that with respect, by the way.
Do you mean in terms of crap viewers? So there's two things. So first of all, in a good process like the one we've got at Greenhouse OS, we have got a disqualification criteria. So effectively, if you don't meet certain criteria, you don't get offered the ability to book a viewing. So that's the first way that you protect that.
So what sort of criteria?
So lettings is the best example.
Because lettings makes me nervous.
Yes.
Sales, I'm a lot more comfortable with.
Totally. So let's imagine that it was about affordability. Yeah. So you can have affordability criteria in terms of how much does the person earn, how much is the rent, do they meet the affordability criteria? Yes, no. If it's a yes, then they get offered.
And if someone can't be bothered to fill that in, then they're self-qualifying themselves not to be offered the viewing.
Correct. Exactly. You have to go through that process. I mean, what we do is that we actually check back to the CRM to see if they're already registered so that we can skip that step out for them if they've already been through that process. So yeah, we try and make it as easy as possible for the consumer. But all I would say to agents is that the technology just on its own will not fix this problem for you. What makes self-service in terms of viewing booking really interesting is it's a fusion between operational and technical. So what I mean by that is if you don't have diary availability opened up in your diary and the consumer goes all the way through that journey and they get to the point where they're ready to book a viewing and they don't get the slot that they want, they don't book the viewing. Yeah, so there's a huge drop-off rate. So one of the disciplines that we have is that we are always monitoring diary availability to open it up from our self-employed agents as much as possible so that we get a nice high percentage. And I have a dashboard on my mobile phone which tells me each stage of the funnel, and I look at it every single day.
How's that going to stop me going from one part of the town across to the other? All that, or can tech sort all that out for
you? Yeah, exactly. Tech can sort it all out for you. So there's two things. So one is I mentioned in one of our earlier videos that we use a tactic called property launch, which sells homes for £8,000 more. Well, of course, it also has the massive benefit of being a hugely time efficient way to be able to structure viewings. So if you use block viewings or group viewings, that's a big way. So that's the first thing. The second thing is we have a Google Maps API. And what that means is it calculates the driving time. Yeah. And the third way we do it is that we have this thing called zero carbon viewings. So we highlight to the
consumer, like a Cardo. I like that.
Exactly. So we highlight when we're already there, because at the end of the day, the consumer isn't going to get it. Yes, it wasn't my idea. It was Alex's, and the consumer doesn't give a shit about your diary. Yeah, do not care, but they may care about keeping either a zero carbon or a low carbon viewing. And low carbon means we are within 10 minutes of that location.
Love that.
Yeah, there you go.
Blow my mind. Wow,
that's Greenhouse OS for you.
Makes it. It's quite speechless on that one. I like that.
Good.
Thank you for your time today.
Pleasure.